Qualquer um que vá a Atenas precisa começar do princípio. Uma longa trilha na montanha para desfrutar a vista dos deuses gregos. Afinal, é um insulto descrever Atenas como velha. Ela é uma relíquia.
What a sight! Now, that is a view worth climbing a mountain to see.
Este lugar é lar de uma das civilizações mais antigas do mundo, onde política, arquitetura e filosofia floresceram. O que faz muito sentido, já que a cidade foi batizada com o nome da deusa da sabedoria.
It really is impressive when you get to the top of the Acropolis and see the Parthenon in all its restorative glory. You truly feel on top of the world, inspired and awed by the history. You know, the birthplace of civilization and democracy and all of that. I had to start my visit from Athens here because these ancient Greek monuments dominate the city. And from here, we can explore the drama that is Athens.
Os últimos 2 séculos foram de drama grego. Golpes, um monarca exilado e guerra atrás de guerra. E agora, o capítulo mais recente, a crise econômica. Richard Quest foi ver a cidade que agora emerge desta nuvem sombria.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
Unir o antigo e o moderno é o que Pantelis Melíssenos faz. Ele é conhecido como poeta, artesão de sandálias. Quest o conheceu em 2015, durante uma reportagem sobre a crise econômica.
When we met, the crisis was at its worst, the economy was in deep, deep trouble, and you were very pessimistic. Since then, how have things changed?
The Greeks lately are enjoying life a lot because they see that we're going down the drain and the only way to survive is just to have fun.
That's a very pessimistic view of the future.
It's pessimistic and at the same time very optimistic because it's like they don't let themselves go down the drain that easily. Let's put the stamp to prove the authenticity. So now we have to cut the leather straps.
You don't have them pre-cut?
No, everything is fresh.
Cutting my own sandals.
Essa empresa familiar começou em 1920, fazendo sandálias no estilo dos gregos antigos. Ela passou do avô para o pai até chegar nele.
This is the old-fashioned way. My grandfather used to use this method too. It's good to work like that because it helps the mind. It's like therapy. It's a good place to search for the soul of Greece. Huh?
Very good. I don't know how you do this. This would be the bit that I would make a mess of every single time.
I feel that I have to join the Greeks and fight. You know.
But who are you fighting? It seems to be you're fighting everyone.
The Greeks are always fighting an imaginary enemy. Some people have imaginary friends. The Greeks have imaginary enemies.
It's exhausting.
People don't believe that there is so much work in a sandal.
How do you make any money out of this?
It's very hard.
Well, they feel good.
And now we have also to take the traditional photos.
Oh, good grief. What are you doing to us?
This is the Greek drama.
This is drama.
This is drama, yeah.
Quest deveria ter imaginado que viajar a Atenas lhe daria alguns quilos a mais.
This is very good. Greeks love their big desserts and their food,
Oh, yeah,
don't
yeah.
they?
One last piece and I'm done.
Last famous words.
Lutar pela vitória, com energia para seguir em frente. Há uma essência no povo grego que desafia a lógica. A combinação perfeita para o berço dos Jogos Olímpicos. Os primeiros foram realizados lá em 1896. E mais de um século se passaria até que voltassem em 2004. A prefeita da época, Dora Bakoyannis, teve a tarefa hercúlea de fazê-los acontecer.
Why did Athens want the Games? Besides, obviously, historical reasons.
Well, the historical reasons are very important. It was a challenge for us. We knew at the time, when we asked for the Games, that a lot of infrastructure had to be in place. And the city, a city which looked old, you know, like a middle-aged lady, this city became blooming.
There are those who would say that the seeds of the later financial crisis were sown with the Olympics. Do you accept that?
No, that's not true. We are responsible, we politicians are responsible for the crisis. There's no question about that. Now, you have been around Athens now. Today, Athens has tourism which we didn't have for years, which means we are back. But we have to work for it. Nothing happens if we just wait and say we are the most beautiful country in the world. People will come to us.
You light up when you talk about Athens.
I love Athens. I love Athens and I'm very proud of Athens.
What are you proud of?
I'm proud of us. I'm proud of the Athenians. I'm proud of this city, which is one of the oldest cities in the world, which had mismanagement, wars, civil wars, whatever you can think of happened in Athens. But we are still there. We are still here. And every year, Athens looks a little bit better.
Wherever you go in this city, eventually you'll come across some form of drama. Even here in Athens' landmark hotel, the Grand Britannia, which has witnessed every major event here since the 1870s. Well, here in Alexander's bar, there's a massive, rare tapestry of Alexander the Great in full action.
Imperando sobre Atenas há mais de 140 anos, o Hotel Grand Bretagne evoluiu em perfeita sincronia com a cidade. Sua localização na Praça Sintagma, próxima ao parlamento, permitiu que o hotel mantivesse sua magnitude mesmo durante momentos turbulentos.
How lovely to be in Syntagma Square and everything is peaceful and normal. The last time I was in this square was during the political crisis in 2015, when the square was a mass of protest with large rallies being held on both sides in front of the Parliament building, and the balconies of the Athens Plaza Hotel were turned into makeshift television studios.
Foi durante o pior momento da crise econômica, enquanto a polícia batia nos manifestantes, que Richard Quest também sofreu com gás lacrimogêneo durante uma transmissão ao vivo. A União Europeia ajudou a evitar a falência da Grécia na última crise, mas a um custo bastante alto, empréstimos de bilhões de dólares. Foi um momento decisivo para os gregos e levou a longos anos de dura austeridade e revolta popular, arruinando as vidas de uma geração inteira. E como disse Pantelis, o artesão de sandálias, a Grécia padeceu da miséria, mas agora, aparentemente, os gregos decidiram aproveitar o máximo que for possível. E no verão, isso significa fugir do calor sufocante de Atenas e seguir para as ilhas.
I'm on my way to Aegina to meet a man who was central during the worst days of the Greek financial crisis, Yanis Varoufakis. Now, to some, he is a hero, a champion of the Greek cause, standing up against the European Union. To others, he was a menace, a villainous mischief maker, who was well rid of when gone.
Quest conheceu Varoufakis durante os duros dias de 2015, quando ele foi ministro da Economia em um breve mandato de 5 meses. Ele se tornou o espinho nas negociações entre a Grécia e seus credores.
On the day I resigned, I said that I am going to carry upon me the loathing of the creditors, and I'm going to wear it like a badge of honor.
Great quote. Your reputation in this country, when you mention your name, it's extremely polarizing.
There are those who actually blame me for the Greek crisis, which is a little bit of a joke, really, because we had lost 28% of GDP before I stepped into the ministry.
We're told that the worst of the crisis is over. The economy is looking much stronger than it was before.
You know, this is the typical case of adding insult to injury. The lenders and the Greek regime of oligarchs that created the crisis in the first place and have been managing the recovery since 2010, they put the patient into a permanent coma and called it stability.
You have just painted a fairly gloomy scenario. Why would anybody want to come here?
This is a great place to revive your human spirit, because if people can have such fun in miserable circumstances, then there is hope for all of us.
Esperança na adversidade e rebeldes com causas podem explicar a nova atitude em Atenas. Quest descobriu que, desde a crise, a criatividade decolou e uma nova geração de artistas surgiu.
Right, ice cream time.
Yes.
Thomas Salapatis é um poeta que tinha quase 24 anos quando a crise estourou. Na última década, ele viu cerca de metade de seus amigos deixar o país.
Do you like ice cream? Ice cream.
Sorvete melhora qualquer situação. Ao final deste lindo dia de verão, Quest vai aliviar o calor no que Salapatis diz ser um tradicional passatempo ateniense de verão. Uma experiência imperdível.
We're in an outdoor movie theatre.
Yeah, it's a kind of a tradition in Athens, in Greece. And it's a symbol of summer, of childhood, of being careless or something like that. I like it.
This bloom of arts that I've heard about.
Yeah, is it real?
Well, is it real, and how much of it is an element of wishful thinking?
The numbers say that it is true. I mean, we have many shows, you know, theatrical shows, like we have, I think, more than New York now, like 1,000 a year, something like that. You have another 1,000 books published, poetry books published every year. It's a huge number.
So there is a plus, there is a silver lining, if albeit torn and maybe tattered, in that there does seem to have been a renaissance of arts.
I won't say exactly Renaissance, but it's not so good for the art, but it's good for the people, I think.
Right, but in the arts in the general sense.
Yeah, because we're not sure what's going to left over for all of that after the crisis ends. But I think now it is not better, of course, because we live in a tragedy.
You use the word tragedy.
Yeah, I'm Greek, I have to. I think that we must do that.
Yannis quer ir à luta. Thomas quer aproveitar a vida. Tragédia ou comédia, talvez Atenas ainda não saiba que tipo de drama ela quer ser. Mas uma coisa é certa, todo bom drama precisa dos ingredientes perfeitos. Grandes monumentos, personagens clássicos, beleza inegável. Atenas tem tudo isso. E recentemente ganhou mais um elemento, um príncipe grego nascido de uma família real em exílio e uma princesa que, por casamento, passou a fazer parte dessa complicada história.
It's an example of philoxenia, Greek hospitality.
O primeiro desafio é saber como tratar Nicolaus e Tatiana. A família real não é mais oficialmente reconhecida na Grécia. Então, devemos tratá-los por Vossa Alteza? Senhor? Senhora? Príncipe Nicolaus? Não se importa. Estar na Grécia já é o suficiente.
I often wake up in the morning, I look out my window and I pinch myself to say how happy I am to be here with her. Because it was a lifelong ambition of mine to move here.
If she'd said no, what would have been the outcome?
I would have persuaded her gently to try and wait some time.
I'm up for an adventure, so I don't think I would have said no. It was exciting. I fell in love with Athens.
O antigo rei Constantino II, pai do príncipe Nicolaus, foi forçado ao exílio depois de um golpe militar em 1967. Alguns anos e um plebiscito depois, finalmente foi abolida a monarquia grega. Passaram-se décadas até que membros da família real começassem a voltar para a Grécia. O próprio príncipe Nicolaus só retornou aos 11 anos e agora ele mora ali há quase 10 anos.
There was never a time where we actually were prohibited from coming to the country. My father took a decision after the referendum to allow the democracy to flourish and not be seen to be meddling.
The first trip that you came back to was, of course, to your grandmother's funeral.
It was a very poignant moment and a very pivotal moment in my life because it was a bittersweet return. It only reinforced what my grandmother had been telling me all my life up until that point about Greece being our home.
Why do you want to be so involved in the life of Greece, a country which officially in 1974 turned its back on your father and all he stood for?
It didn't turn its back on my father, it turned its back on the institution of the monarchy.
But you have a love of this country.
I do. And there's no way you can take that away from me. It's ingrained in me, it's in my DNA. If you deconstruct Greece, you're left with a boat, an olive tree and a vine. And with those three things, you can reconstruct Greece.
This is glorious.
It is. This is another side of Athens.
Vagando entre as oliveiras e cheiro de lavanda no ar. Esta é a fazenda Mardi.
Eggs and tomato, it's a dish from Mani in the south.
Where do we begin?
Greek salad. Traditional Greek salad.
Koriatiki, which means village salad.
These tomatoes,
They have flavor.
it's only when you have them like this that you realize how short-changed I'm being. You have a sort of a story I know I've been reading about that children are disappointed when they meet the princess.
I have been living with that.
What is it?
I don't. That's how I feel. I feel that a child wants to see a woman in a tiara and a ball gown, but that's not the real life. At least not my real life. I like to get my hands dirty and be on the ground.
But you both have this magnificent opportunity, don't you? I mean, to advance what you perceive as the causes necessary in the country.
I think
You can make a difference.
Yes, but I without sounding too whatever, I think everybody can make a difference if they try and if they put their mind and their heart to it. The difference in our situations that maybe we can bring awareness to those issues.
If there's one thing that you would like me to take away from Athens, what would it be?
For me, it's that Athens has a lot of character. Athens is a city that's booming. It's sort of phoenix rising from the ashes, and there's a lot to discover. And I don't think it's the beautiful city that everyone imagines it to be. You have to dig in and get to really experience it, taste it, enjoy it. Athens is alive, and it's exciting.
If there was one thing that you should leave Athens with is hope. It is a resilient city because it's made up of resilient people.
Aqui está, mais uma vez, a noção de fazer o melhor com o que se tem e seguir em frente, apesar de tudo. Isso é o espírito e a tradição atual do estilo de vida grego, que continua firme e forte.
Drama, It's the one word that has rung constantly in my ears throughout my visit to Athens, to which I would now add resilience and hope. For time and again I've been told, these are the golden threads that run through the spirit of Athens. I've always loved the philosopher's saying, it is only with the setting of the sun that one can judge how well the day went. And that is certainly true of Athens as the city and the country come out of the financial crisis. Which is one reason why Athens must be on your list of places to visit in this world of wonder.
Richard Quest chega por água, como se faz há centenas de anos. E claro, a jornada não poderia começar por outro lugar, o famoso Canal do Panamá.
Can there be any better symbol for today's Panama than a tanker going under the Bridge of the Americas into the Panama Canal? I'll admit, before this trip, I knew very little about Panama City, besides the obvious, the eponymous canal, the dictator General Noriega, and the scandal of the Panama Papers. Now I want to understand the DNA of this place. And I quickly realize the Isthmus of Panama is, of course, a bridge, a land bridge between North and South America, a water bridge between the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans, and a cultural bridge bringing together all societies. As a result, Panama is in the middle, and that's created an identity crisis here. Who and what are the Panamanians?
Ao olhar este horizonte, é fácil perceber a luta por identidade em suas fronteiras. Vidros espelhados, arranha-céus, os atuais ícones do comércio ficam lado a lado com as relíquias do passado. É por entre essas ruas antigas que Quest logo percebe que seu chapéu deixa a desejar.
That one or that one? No, that feels small, doesn't it? Okay, so these are $150. Over here was
$25.
something in between.
45.
Yes, yes. Oh, look at that. That feels good, doesn't it?
Como jornalista muito viajado, Quest sabe que o chapéu Panamá é feito no Equador. Mas quem liga? O importante é que foi ali que ele ganhou popularidade. Essas construções na parte antiga da cidade são mais evidências de um fato indiscutível. A cidade do Panamá foi invadida, governada e ocupada muitas vezes ao longo de sua história. Pelos espanhóis, pelos colombianos.
So, where are we?
This is Plaza Catedral, Cathedral Square. That's the main plaza in Panama.
Esta praça é o melhor lugar para conhecermos o cineasta Abner Benaim, cujos filmes exploram o complexo DNA da cidade do Panamá.
The word I would use for Panama City is identity.
Identity, I think, is right. It does have its own identity, but that identity is made up of chaos. That's how I feel. I mean, and I love that chaos. It's made up of people from all over the world, people that came here for different reasons. And it all has to do with the location in the map. You know, you just see the map of the Americas, and that narrow spot, that little bridge between North and South, that's Panama. It's very easy to point out, and everyone's known that. It's a country that's been used by everyone.
Usado por todos, incluindo os Estados Unidos, que controlou e possuiu o Canal do Panamá. Foram as tropas americanas que invadiram o Panamá para retirar Manuel Noriega do poder. O líder panamenho que começou como informante da CIA e terminou como um líder de cartel ditador que não podia mais ser controlado. O documentário de Abner, chamado Invasão, retoma esses eventos, assim como a partida dos Estados Unidos e a retirada de suas tropas.
The identity is that of a teenager, in a sense. It's new, you know. Panama Historically, it's 100 and something years old, since 1903. But really, it's been independent since 1999, since December 1999, when the Americans left. And that's the first time that Panama stood on its own and said, okay, now what do we do? Growing up is hard, you know, and being left alone and being independent is very hard.
I love this analogy that you're drawing of a teenager. You know, what are the characteristics of a 16, 18-year-old?
Irresponsible in a sense, and wild, but also very adventurous. Everything is possible.
Learning how to date?
Learning how to date, yeah.
Which countries do you want to sort of have a frisson with?
Right, so it's a very young country, and now people are understanding that we have to take responsibility and we have to do things on our own and make it good.
Hoje, a influência de invasores e conquistadores é celebrada e respeitada em diferentes graus.
The old town, with all its charm and history, being lovingly restored. And on the other side of the Panama Bay, you've got the gleaming skyline of tower blocks and skyscrapers, which have erupted in the last 3 decades. 2 sides of this interesting city.
Quest não está só visitando a cidade do Panamá, mas também vivendo a cidade. Aproveitando para saborear as coisas boas, o que no Panamá também significa café. Café de verdade, bem forte.
What am I looking for though with the aroma? What am I looking for?
Fruits, flowers.
Segurem seus chapéus Panamá. Um dos cafés mais caros do mundo é dali. A variedade geisha foi vendida por $800 a libra, equivalente a cerca de 450 gramas, pela Lamastus Family Farm, em 2018. Então, Quest está ansioso para saber se pode tomar esse café caro.
They've deliberately covered up the names and varieties of the coffees because they want me to choose which I like best and differentiate, rather than which I think is which. Oh yeah, this is a bit more, I don't know what.
Just check it out.
I feel like I'm at the duty-free perfume store.
The next step is smelling with water. But smell it, yeah, exactly. Great.
Yes!
We grab coffee.
What?
We slurp in, and then we put it in the water to go to the next one.
Quest diz que aprendeu com sua mãe que sorver não é lá muito educado. Ela, com certeza, nunca degustou café, porque ali a sucção é essencial.
I mean business. Quick rehearsal.
Yeah, that's a good one, Chad.
Weird. Oh, that's nice. There's something going on with this one.
This is a natural geisha. So this coffee was award-winning, the
Yes!
one that broke the record.
I knew I could spot an award-winning coffee.
Okay, jump.
Yes, please. What's that?
Sugar milk.
Gracias. Very good. When the sun shines, the impressive skyline looks spectacular, and there's a certain easiness about the place, which is all the more remarkable when you think about the recent past.
O Canal do Panamá é considerado a parte mais famosa da identidade desse lugar. Mas é um motivo de orgulho que também teve seu custo. Quando os americanos começaram a construir esse canal no começo dos anos 1900, sabia-se que não seria tão simples. Mais de 5.000 vidas foram perdidas por doenças ou acidentes. Para os americanos, os fins justificavam os meios. O istmo, que tentou impérios ao redor do mundo por séculos, se tornou ainda mais valioso em 1914, quando o canal de quase 80 quilômetros de extensão conectou os oceanos Atlântico e Pacífico, diminuindo em semanas os trajetos marítimos e criando novas oportunidades. Foi apenas em dezembro de 1999 que os americanos se retiraram e os panamenhos obtiveram total controle sobre a hidrovia que dividiu o país em dois.
Welcome to the Panama Canal. Many forest lots.
I mean, it's amazing. It's big.
De perto, é intimidador, especialmente para alguém como Quest, que sofre com alturas.
You suddenly just see this massive wall holding back the water. It makes you the vertigo is very strange. Oh, it's exciting, this. I know you see this every day.
I have 5 feet in
Both sides?
Both sides.
So this ship is 100 feet wide.
Right.
And the canal and the lock is 110. So it's absolutely amazing. These vast ships. And the locomotives are coming past on both sides. Is the cable tight?
Tight. He only using them to up the ship in the center.
Look at the narrowness. So this will go down 27 feet.
Exactly.
Now the gates open and they're opening.
Talvez seja bobagem ficar eufórico com o abrir de uma passagem, mas pense no tamanho desta comporta. O canal funciona 24 horas por dia, todos os dias. Navios passam pela eclusa em diferentes momentos, fazendo com que sua receita anual chegasse a 3,3 bilhões de dólares em 2019 e está em excelentes condições. As autoridades dizem que, apesar de ter mais de um século, o concreto original está praticamente intocado. Uma maravilha reconhecida no mundo moderno.
So this was the original equipment. Did you use this?
Yes, I use it.
Did it make any noise?
No noise.
No
noise.
No.
No noise.
Show me what it was like.
Imagine. Abrir válvulas, apertar botões, puxar alavancas. Esse painel de controle era usado até 12 anos atrás e controlava as comportas enormes.
Today, it is the simple operation.
Click.
West já viajou muito pelo mundo. Viu e fez bastante coisa.
Oh, hang on, getting close.
Mas nada parecido com isso.
Yes. Click. Okay.
Oh, they're opening.
Yeah, they start. They with it.
Oh, yes, that's those.
Como se tivesse feito um post no Twitter, ele move centenas de toneladas de concreto e aço, desloca milhares de metros cúbicos de água e deixa seguir a movimentação de milhões de dólares em comércio.
These days, it may be but a click of a mouse to open the gates, but I have now operated the locks at the Panama Canal. Now, which ship's next? It's very impressive to see the Panama Canal in action, the endless number of giant ships that they managed to pass through. And I can now see why Panamanians are so proud of the canal and the fact that it is now back under their control and they're getting all the revenues from it.
Historicamente, estrategicamente e economicamente, não restam dúvidas. O canal faz parte da identidade desta cidade. Uma identidade que agora é totalmente panamenha. Em qualquer cidade, aqueles que chegam primeiro exploram melhor o trançado DNA do lugar. Na cidade do Panamá, há 2 nomes muito repetidos. Um é Manuel Noriega, tanto amado quanto odiado. O outro, um tesouro nacional, é um homem com quem a cidade inteira parece ter uma conexão. O grande boxeador Roberto Duran. o Mãos de Pedra, como é conhecido. Ainda bem que ele está disposto a pegar leve com o Quest. É o filho dele, Robin, que vai ajudar, já que a entrevista será em espanhol.
What's it like in the ring?
¿Cómo se siente estar en un ring?
Es que cuando uno vive para boxear, lo vive feliz.
When you're a fighter, you're happy. You're happy to be in the ring.
O legado de Duran se espalha muito além dessa cidade. O mundo do boxe o reconhece como um de seus reis, por ter lutado durante os anos dourados com outras lendas como Sugar Ray Leonard e Marvelous Marvin Hagler. 70 nocautes na carreira e campeão em 4 categorias de peso.
No, hombre, lo máximo, the best man, the best man.
Wow. You are very famous here in Panama.
On the world, on the world.
In the world?
Yeah.
Yes.
Es popular in the world. Y lo que me ha dado, mira, lo que me lo he ganado.
And whatever I get, whatever I have is because I've earned it.
You've earned it hard.
Sí.
Let's see the fist.
A ver el puño.
Chiquita pero gruesa, ahí le.
It's small but thick.
Vacío.
A conversa inevitavelmente chega a Manuel Noriega e a uma louca história sobre a experiência de Duran na noite da invasão americana.
Y me dice mi amigo, hey, ¿tú sabes una cosa? Vámonos para la casa que esto es invasión. Le dije yo, ¿cuánto te pagó mi mujer para convencerme? Porque yo no me voy. Yo tenía 2 ametralladoras que había comprado a uno batallón de dignidad. Y le dije, esto es una cosa, vamos a defender a Noriega, al armado y armar hasta, ya tú sabes, pues bien borracho, dile. Bueno, para no echarle el cuento, amanecí amarrado al lado de la pata de la cama, dile.
You were tied up.
He was tied up to the bed.
Sí, amarrado.
What was Noriega like?
My friend, that's all.
Your friend?
Sí.
Down in the ring. Ah! You haven't yet given me the feeling of your love of Panama.
You from to London?
London.
Bueno, ¿dónde quieres morir? ¿En Londres o quieres
You want
morir?
to die in Panama or in London?
London.
Entonces, yo quiero morir aquí.
He wants to die in Panama.
In my country.
Agora, Quest é que foi nocauteado.
This is a car.
Você poderia dizer que Octávio Vallarino é o responsável por boa parte desta imagem moderna que a cidade do Panamá está construindo. Isso porque ele a está construindo literalmente há décadas. Vallarino é um empreendedor imobiliário.
What do you think when you look at it, the skyline?
I think that this is even though I'm a Panamanian, I live here, it impresses me to see the skyline. It means it's a reflection of prosperity, it's a reflection of confidence.
I'm learning.
Quest está aprendendo que, apesar de tudo que essa cidade passou ao longo da história, há um profundo sentimento de lealdade e de orgulho.
The growth here is exceptional. It's all the post-Noriega.
All post-Noriega.
Noriega, esse nome de novo.
What was it like living here during Noriega's time?
It wasn't bad until he broke up with the United States. The economy was actually, decelerating continuously. And then when the American invasion came about, that some of us call it the liberation, actually, Panama bloomed back into what it is today.
You are aware, of course, that many of your fellow citizens do not see it that way.
Maybe there are some patriots that don't want to recognize it, but that is an absolute fact. That the invasion of the United States gave Panama a good housekeeping seal that makes us one of the safest places in the world. What would have deferred us from the rest of the Latin American countries that nowadays are turning into terrible situations?
Let's talk about this idea of the American umbrella.
If the Americans had not been here, Panama would not have been what it is today. It's that way we have a lot of foreigners coming to live in Panama, to do business in Panama. Some of them become residents, some of them become citizens of Panama. Somehow there's a magic here that people just don't want to live.
DNA e identidade confusa, compostos por todos que os antecederam. Nada mais apropriado, então, do que encerrar essa viagem nas ruínas espanholas da cidade do Panamá. em um povoado formado por um império que não resistiu ao que Vallarino diz ser a mágica deste país.
These ruins are more than 300 years old in a city many believe was reborn in 1999 after the Americans left. If so, that makes Panama City the age of a teenager. And like teenagers everywhere, is now going through the growing pains towards maturity and successfully learning its true identity in the world. As with all teenagers, here you will experience a youthful vibrancy, an optimism for life and the future, which is why you must come to visit, because Panama City truly is part of our world of wonder.